Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. What'd you do today? What did you do today to better yourself, to become a little bit more prepared? Did you push yourself a little hard? Maybe too hard, maybe not hard enough. I just want to know, what are you doing? Are you trying to be a better person, better prepared? Because that's what we should all be doing. I recorded my podcast again. I do it every Wednesday. If you listen to podcasts, just about any of the way that you listen to a podcast, you can listen to this. If it's not available on whatever podcasting platform you go to, let me know and I'll make sure it gets on there. But all the big ones like Anchor and Spotify and Podbean, whatever it is, Apple, you can listen to that today. Today I talk about global warming, what's their end goal with it, what has led up to it. And then I go into the second hour, which is a members only second hour, but the second hour of, how we can prepare ourselves for it, because we're watching a distinct pattern with all of this, whether it's man-made stuff, man-made in other words, government controlled and government made, the stuff that they put in the air and all that kind of stuff, or it's natural, stuff that's naturally just a normal cycle of the planet. And then also there's the bigger cycle, the big planetary global cycles that we go through every few thousand years. And so talk about all that. So check that out at your whatever your regular podcast platform that you're used to listening to. It should be there. And like I said, if it's not, let me know. But it's Apple, Spotify, a lot of the big ones, it's all on there. Also, I saw that both Russia and Ukraine have said that they're getting ready. They probably already are, time difference and the delay and everything, so it's probably already happening. But apparently both sides have planned a major drone offensive. Russia's planned a major drone offensive into north central Ukraine, which is in the Kiev area, and Ukraine is planned and is unleashing today, tomorrow, whatever, a major drone offensive into Moscow. We're just watching that whole thing escalate. At some point, I would guess, that Russia is just going to say, all right, we're just taking the gloves off and we're going all at it. So you think something's going to have to change? Right? Maybe not. I mean, Russia has been known to carry on these wars for many, many years that just seem to be very, very slowly progressive, or not even progressive at all. So who knows what the real plan is? I talk about all the time on here of how we need to get ourselves ready. I say it pretty much every video. I also push a lot to be kind of the homesteading lifestyle. I kind of, if you take prepping to the final level, I think Bear Independent says this often. I know I've heard him say it once, maybe twice, but if you take prepping to its final destination, you're pretty much at homesteading, because you can only put away so much stuff. I mean, it's good that you put away stuff, but you can only put away so much stuff to where, you have to start producing your own stuff. You can't be dependent upon a system. It's not easy though. And I don't want to sugarcoat things. I think too many people, they think it's easier than it looks, There's all kinds of more homesteading specific videos. People do a really good job. I've seen some that their cinematography, the quality of it, could easily be Hollywood. I mean, some of these guys actually hire cameramen to follow them around and to take exquisite videos. They may have a whole team, on their homestead trying to make this, and they're big channels, and they really produce amazing quality of work. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think that a lot of people sometimes see it as, wow, that's exactly what I want. I'm going to move out into the woods and I'm going to live that way, and it's going to be beautiful and just as pleasant as can be. One of the first things I ever did when either writing or producing some kind of content in relation to homesteading was an article that I wrote many years ago. It's not available anymore. It was on a blog website that I was able to post it on. And basically, I don't remember what it was called, the title of it, but I was talking about this, of how there is this assumption that homesteading is just, you see these pictures of the whole family wearing these beautiful white clothes, they look like angels, and they're just frolicking through the field, touching the grains of the grass, and the sun is setting over the hilltop, and it's beautiful. Or they're in this lush area under a tree cuddling with their chickens, and it's everything's wonderful and beautiful. There can be moments of that, but I'm going to tell you that this lifestyle is hard. This lifestyle's tough. It's not for the weak. And if you are weak, you're either going to fail or you're going to get tough. There's not really any other way around it. You're either going to toughen up because you've succeeded in it, or you're going to fail because you gave up. It's not easy. And I've done many things in my life, many things. And I can tell you that on a day in, day out basis, there's probably nothing as hard as living this kind of lifestyle. Because there's always something, especially when you do it on a budget. A lot of these people that I talk about, and I'm not knocking any of them, so please understand, because they probably all started off kind of small. But some of these big YouTube channels that portray this, most likely they're probably making a pretty good income. They're probably doing pretty good. And they're able to acquire the things to do it right and to make it look good. For most of us, it's a struggle. Most of us, we're piecemealing things together to make it work. We're moving something here so that we can do something there, so that we can move it back. It's constantly it's difficult. The animals, it's difficult. Dealing with animals that are sick, you may have to put them down. It's difficult. Just the other day, one of the animals that we had that was kind of my animal, I bought him because I wanted him. Most all the animals on the property are, they're kind of what my wife wanted, or the children, they kind of take care of, they feed most all the animals. But I wanted these particular animals, and I bought them. And some of them died. And it was a little heartbreaking. I had been hand raising them. They'd been following me around. They were like my pets, right? Why? Because I liked them. And a couple of them died, and I had to bury them, and it stinks. It's not fun. You get injured. You wear yourself out. This lifestyle is not easy. But here's the thing. The lifestyle that we're going to have to live in the future, probably the near future, where the whole world is falling apart, the collapse that's upon us, the collapse that we're probably all going to have to live through, that's not going to be easy either. And I can promise you it's going to be a lot harder than homesteading is right now. So homesteading isn't just, setting yourself up in a place that you're more self-sufficient, more resilient to the coming storm. It's also training you to be a little bit harder, a little bit tougher, a little bit more grit. And it's going to be different. It's not going to be, where you're just fending off the bad guys and that's it. You're fending off the bad guys while you're putting out a garden, and you're taking care of the animals, and you're, taking care of your children, and all that. You're doing it all together. Maybe getting water from a creek or well, or, boiling it, and doing all the things that you might have to do depending on how bad it gets. It's really going to be busy for a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of work. And I think that the real homesteading lifestyle that's pretty rugged, and it's, you're doing it the hard way, it's probably actually a good thing. I know many people that they're what they're doing right now with homesteading is so similar to what our ancestors did with homesteading a couple of hundred years ago, where they're literally taking raw land and they're putting up a small little cabin on it. Maybe they're building it by hand. Maybe they're living in a tent. Even if they have it built, it's small, it's very tiny. They're out there breaking ground, sometimes manually. Sometimes they have a small tiller. They're trying to figure out their water source. They're trying to figure out how to cool things and how to keep food preserved. They're doing things the hard way because, well, it's cheaper to do things the hard way usually, and it just makes them tougher. And a lot of these folks that I know, my family and many others, they're doing things this way because they want to disconnect from the system. They know things are going to collapse. They know it's going to get bad. And they know the longer they continue to tether themselves to a collapsing and failing system, the longer it's extending their weakness. And if they sever those ties, they sever them now, as much as they possibly can and work really hard, even though it is hard, and it's like round the clock work. There's most nights when I go to bed, man, I'm dead tired, and just a few hours later, and it's usually just a few, 4 or 5, I'm up at it again, whether I'm making videos or I'm doing things on our homestead. This is normal for most people that do this, and I think a lot of people want to do this because it's making them better. It's severing those ties a little early, but it's under their control. And they know that when the stuff really comes around the corner and it starts to hit us, it's going to be hard, but they've already kind of braced themselves. They've already built their toughness. They've already, got a little grit in their teeth. And they figure they're probably able to handle it a little more. So I would encourage you to explore this lifestyle. Some of you, it's never going to happen. I'm not putting you down. You're just not going to do it. Maybe you have legitimate, valid reasons. Some of you just don't want to do it. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm telling you that if you embark upon this lifestyle and do it kind of the hard way, it's going to make you tough, much tougher than you were, and increase the level of resiliency that you will have when faced with the coming collapse. I'm pretty sure it's coming. I mean, at one point, I was probably 50% sure. I'm guessing I'm a good 95+% sure right now. And I think that we need to get ready seriously. So whether it's in an apartment, a suburb, or it's in a small little cabin, or whatever you live in, out in the woods, or out in the middle of nowhere, you need to be taking it seriously. And don't be afraid of hard work. It conditions your body, conditions your mind. It gets you ready. It is just another form of preparedness, of getting your mind and your body ready by doing some hard work and then figuring things out. You're also able to figure out what works. How hard is it? How much work is it if I had to come down to this creek every day and draw water out of it and carry it all the way up to the house, up the hill, and then purify it for drinking? How hard is that? Do I know how hard it is? Have I ever had to do it before? Have I ever done a dry run before? Have you? It's not as easy as you think. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of calories. A lot of things take calories. That's the fuel that keeps us going, and you need to be figuring that out. And if you're just sitting around watching YouTube videos all the time, and you're not actually out there doing the things, you're not really getting that prepared, because you need to be developing the strength, the muscle memory, the toughness to get through tough times, because that's what's coming at us, folks. Really tough times. You need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.